Make your point on the News Hour. Join Arnab every night on the News Hour with your question. Ask your question and join the debate.
Let's welcome the guests for debate number one this evening. We have Nalin, Kohli, National Spokesperson of the BJP. With us, Dr. Zeenat Shaukat Ali, Professor Islamic Studies and Director General Wisdom Foundation, is also with us this evening. Social activist Rahul Easwar, Junaid Matoo, Spokesperson of the National Conference, Dr. Fuad Halim, Leader CPIM, Dr. Tasleem Ahmed Rehmani, President of the Muslim Political Council of India. And my first question to John Dayal, who represents the Christian community here and is really going to give us a perspective on what the Christian community would feel about One India, One Law. Now, my first question to you, sir, is that it's a proposal to unify, equate and put everybody at par. This proposal for a One India, One Law, if anything, is something to unify. Why then are there any objections to this, including objections that call this communal, that say that this has some kind of, Hindutva agenda behind it? The platform is one that will make law equal to every single citizen in this country.
There never has been really an objection from the Christian community. Archbishop Anand last week when he was alive, I and many others met the then Prime Minister, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, many times over this whole talk about a uniform civil code or a common civil code. And we asked him, what are the parameters? Do you have a draft? Could you please tell us what is your intent? What do you want to do? Is it going to be a Hindu civil code foisted on everybody?
But why? That's my question. Why would that possibility even cross someone's mind when essentially it is providing equal justice irrespective of caste, creed or religion?
Because of the reluctance of a series of governments to say that this is a sort of a cover-all. This is a unified civil code in which practices of all communities, from various varieties of Hindu communities to Muslims to various varieties of Christian communities. I'm a Catholic. Catholics have no divorce, theoretically, of course. The Protestants have. But we were bothered then, and we are still bothered, on the civil, the social consequences of all these things. No. What does divorce mean? And therefore,
no, John Dayal.
Questions that
John
you ask,
Dayal, good evening, Mr. John Dayal. You talk about the social consequences. Let's ask. Let's
but who is this? I can't.
This is Anand here. John Dayal. John Dayal, if you can see me, you can hear me.
No, what I wanted to say was that once it is now in the Law Commission, and the Commission has to deliberate, the Commission is an open platform, we will have an opportunity to ask questions, to give replies, to state positions.
No, but why this entire nervousness about personal laws? It's got nothing to do with religion and faith. We all know. Let's just summarize it. Let's just say this is regarding property, marriage, divorce, inheritance and succession.
There should be no gloating at all.
No, what gloating are we talking about?
There's not going to be a law tomorrow.
To the lady with me here in the studio, John Dayal, bringing in our other panelists, sir. Bringing in our other panelists, Dr. Zeenat Shaukat Ali. Now, does this have got anything to do with religion, or are vested interests or parties conflating two divergent issues?
It's a very difficult issue, and it's a very difficult question you're asking me, because you see, over the years, the Uniform Civil Code, though it's a very good idea, and if there's a draft made, I think we should examine it and look at it. It has become extremely politicized. And because it has become politicized, there is a lot of anxiety that is coming in, from the minority communities, like Mr. John Dayal is expressing to you, like from the Muslim communities, as to whether this law ultimately will not only devolve based on one kind of an understanding, but will be inclusive of different religious traditions and different, strengths that religions also offer. So you see, once that is made clear, and once there is a debate, when we can sit together and we can, talk this matter out, I think it would be a matter that we should examine. We should look into.
And Dr. Zeenat, just to add to what you're saying now, isn't that exactly what the objective of this exercise is? Because the government essentially is seeking advice, and this exercise is going to be carried out by keeping all stakeholders involved and a dialogue amongst everyone. That's exactly the purpose of this exercise, is it not?
And therefore, to the extent, it's welcome by all.
May I respond to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just like to say that, you see, what has happened in the last 2 years is that, you see, the minorities have come under a certain amount of flack, you know, with the love jihad, with the children, with one issue or the other, the minorities, at least the Muslim minorities, have got into, you know, have got into a sort of a mood where they feel that they are being discriminated against. You see, now this is something that the government has to take care of, because we are all citizens of India, we are all equal citizens of India, we all would like to contribute equally to India, we would love to see India grow, and that's what we are here for. But it is because of this aspect also that, you know, you have to bring about that kind of you know, shall we say, confidence in the community and a debate within.
See, sorry to interrupt you, Doctor, but the fact is that, like you said, there is a politicization and there is a certain fear psychosis that's been created about this entire issue. But why? Let me ask Tasleem Ahmed Rehmani. Dr. Rehmani, why? Why should there be a psychosis? Why should there be not deliberations across the platform? Why should it take 60 plus years of independence for something which is supposed to be the duty of the state as far as the constitution? Why is it so much of nervousness that a law was
the
forced?
Best reply.
No, why? Why?
The best reply has already been given by Dr. Zeenat, that the issue has been politicized very badly since all these 77 decades. Nobody has come out with an open draft of what the Uniform Civil Code will be. So it was like a hanging sword on all the minority communities and Adivasis and even so many Hindus, Sikhs and Christians, etc., who never understand that what can be the Uniform Civil Code, whether it will be a Hindu civil code or it will really be a uniform kind of civil code.
How is it a Hindu civil code?
In one code,
no, how is
it's
it
not
a Hindu
known.
Civil code
So
when it is a common civil code,
everybody has talked for their political reasons.
No, so who's pushing what political agenda here? Who's pushing a political agenda here? We are saying common civil law. So why should there be a political color given immediately? Why should there be a minority-majority differentiation? What about the minorities within the minorities? What about the women in the Muslim community? Why should there be different laws of engagement as far as cases of marriage and divorce are concerned across religions, sir? How is it fair on any community, any gender? Because the constitution says it should be equality, Rahul.
Will you please listen?
His name is Anand, is it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Your questions are longer than answers. Very long questions.
Yeah, but then the fact is you are telling me something, Dr. Rehmani, which everybody is guilty of. You say it's been politicized and you immediately say, what will it be a Hindu civil code? Who's going to decide it's going to be a Hindu civil code? Why are you creating a perception it will be a Hindu civil code?
Don't you hear the drum beats when the words come out?
I question it. Try to understand, try to listen. Try to listen.
No.
Will you please listen? No, I said that will it be a Hindu civil code? Will it be a Muslim civil code? Will it be a Christian civil code?
With all due respect, what Anand is trying to ask you is why should the question arise in the first place?
If you come to the Constituent Assembly debate,
allow me. Mr. Rehmani, allow me. Now, I am actually going to quote what Modi himself had said on the 6th of May 2014 regarding the implementation of a uniform civil code. He said it does not mean all citizens of the country will be brought under Hindu code. This is his quote. I believe there are several provisions in the Hindu code which are irrelevant and they need reforms too. Why should there be this fear psychosis in the first place that this means a Hindu code for everyone? No one has ever said that that is the purpose of a uniform civil code. Then why does that exist? That question, where does it arise from?
Even I did not say. I am casting my fear that what it will be exactly. There is no blueprint. There is no draft.
Sir,
and every political party, whenever
like you and Mr. John Dayal,
they come and they say that they will impose a uniform
before the deliberations start.
Let us debate.
You're questioning an agenda immediately.
We are welcoming
Rahul Easwar, Nalin Kohli coming to you after that, sir. Rahul Easwar.
To the Law Commission, we have welcomed.
We welcome the move. We welcome the move that they have referred the case to.
Two quick points to John Dayal and Tasleem Rahmani sir.
Yes, Mr. Rahul Easwar.
Sir, I have supreme respect.
Two quick points.
Let us have a discussion.
That's exactly what
we want to do. Two quick points to Rahmani Saab and John Dayal. Let me quote an instance from history. 60 years back, Ambedkar ji brought Hindu code bill. Many people, many conservative Hindus, especially caste Hindus, opposed it. Let me be honest, including my grandfather had many inhibitions regarding the Hindu Code Bill in 1956. But later we realized it was one of the best steps in our history that made the community in a good way. In the same way, let minorities not be afraid. I am sure the government will walk till the end of the world to get Christian community and Muslim community on board. Uniform civil code, or let us call it in a more right way, that is common civil code.
Yes.
With consensus will be a great step, a great policy pushed by BJP government. It will unify us as a nation and will work for national integration.
That's what it's,
they are using it like a weapon against the minorities.
Every time so why is it being politicized? Let me get in Dr. Fuad Halim and Junaid Matoo. Dr. Fuad Halim, why is it then being politicized? Why is this kind of fear being propagated that a uniform civil code could mean a Hindu code being applied to all? Why is it that you have the likes of the head of All India MIM, Mr. Owaisi, coming out and saying, we completely reject this, this is not possible? Why are these issues being made political when it's really essentially about the right and equal right to justice for every citizen of the country? That's really all it's about.
Well, if you have to go into the history and the legacy of the attempt of the Indian political hierarchy in bringing about a common civil code. This dates back to the Constituent Assembly, where the only serious effort towards the uniform civil code was actually made, and it was enshrined in our constitution in Article 44 as the directive principles of state policy. But after gaining independence, when the real effort in trying to codify the laws for especially the majority community was taken up, we found that the fundamentalist sections of the majority community opposed it, and that's why we didn't have the Hindu code. If you're talking of a common code, then you have to pick up the good values among the various codes. But if you don't have the individual religious codes itself, what are you going to pick up from? Now that's the fundamental pitfall.
You're talking about picking up the good
like
from every single code, but what about the negatives? Now this, as I see it, is essentially to provide equality and in a large sense gender equality.
In India,
we are talking about issues like divorce. We are talking about marriage, the age of marriage.
But
you are talking about things like inheritance. Now, when these issues are going to be addressed, you're trying to remove the negative from personal law boards, which skew the equation against women.
If the majority community doesn't have clarity on the question of gender, on the question of inheritance, on the question, in Goa, a Hindu gentleman is allowed to marry twice. Outside Goa, the Hindu gentleman is not allowed to marry twice. In Goa, the Muslim is not allowed to marry more than once. Outside Goa, the Muslim is allowed to marry more than once. So that's the law of the land. So the question is, if the religions do not within themselves accept what their own code is, how do you expect the whole of the country to decide what is good among the religions?
All the more
so
the
that's
reason.
the deficient. That's deficient.
So
we've seen that the religions
there should be a common civil law so that all these practices are done away with.
Actually
all these
deciding what is uniform for them. So we do not have a Hindu code, we do not have a Muslim code, we've got the personal laws, we got some of the rules codified,
and ladies
but
present,
we do not have something on which
what
to apply
happened in 1985?
And here is where the politics comes in. Please let me finish. I didn't interrupt anybody. Please don't interrupt. Please do not interrupt. I did not interrupt anybody.
Sir, I have every right to intervene, and I am intervening. I am asking you a question, Fuad Halim, that when you are highlighting discrepancies which exist across the system, you know that the system needs to be corrected. Now there was a chance when the court said that there needs... Sir, what happened in 1985? What happened in 1985? Did or did not the parliament under the leadership of Rajiv Gandhi overturn a judicial directive? That pointed towards one nation, one law. Did that not happen? So who convoluted the discourse then? Is it fair to ask Fuad Halim, is it fair to point fingers at the current disposition and ask and point and question a political motive or an ulterior motive when this is the first government in 67 years to actually make the push and ask the Law Commission What do you think? Will you speak to the shareholders? Will you speak to the stakeholders? And will you come back to us on whether or not in 2016 India, the largest democracy in the world, is ready for a common civil law? Now that's the question that's being asked. Nalin Kohli.
Civil courts.
Nalin Kohli.
The law commission.
All the courts
Nalin
that have
Kohli.
been formed
Nalin
have
Kohli.
been formed
Nalin Kohli.
because there was a demand from within.
Fuad Halim, Nalin
If
Kohli.
you are going to move from the top,
Nalin Kohli.
unfortunately, that is
Nalin Kohli, is there an ulterior
political motive?
The charge against
And without
the
getting
charge
the
against the current
majority community to
dispositions from the
decide
panelists and
on
outside
their
also
own
is
code
Fuad
to
Halim,
come
hang on.
across with the
Fuad Halim,
idea
hang
of
on.
a common
Not
code.
Fuad Halim.
I think so.
Fuad Halim, allow the other panelists to speak. Fuad Halim, please. Fuad Halim, please.
By the Rajiv Gandhi government overturning the Shaira Bano case,
this is not a good
provision of
intention
law.
of the government.
That was a political move. Nalin Kohli, let's allow the others to speak now.
You do
Nalin
not-
Kohli,
you do
your
not
first
have
words
the
on this.
code. The first effort has to
Fuad Halim,
start
calm
with
down, please.
educating the people
I'm
and
going to
getting the
Nalin Kohli,
citizens
sir. We are going to Nalin Kohli. Please calm
to
down.
accept what
Yes,
they
Nalin
want
Kohli.
as their own code.
Yes,
before you
Nalin
come
Kohli.
to a common code.
Yes, Nalin Kohli. Is there an
Anand,
ulterior motive to this?
I've heard everyone patiently, and I just hope I'm extended the same courtesy. I have a few points to make. This is an important discussion. Everyone is entitled to have their view, but I think I'd like to get across a few points. Let's start from the top. You can't have anything that goes outside what is in the spirit of the Constitution and what's enshrined in the Constitution. So our constitutional framers, they were stalwarts. When they came up with it, they defined a set of guarantees or rights. They also defined things that the state would endeavor towards. One of them, as correctly pointed out under Directive Principles of State Policy, is the Uniform Civil Code, Article 44, where the word is the state shall endeavor. The problem is that even today, an endeavor is being made and that is not being seen in the correct light. Now, the constitution framers felt this country should have it. You can't have a situation where anyone, you, me, anyone can say that I like this part of the constitution, but this one I don't agree with and I would not like to see it implemented. The constitution is a package for every Indian with no discrimination to anyone. So one side you have now Article 14, which is equality. At the same time, between 26 and Article 27, 28, 29, you guarantee every Indian citizen the right to practice their faith. So whatever has to come out, whether it is a law in criminal, a law related to criminal jurisprudence, or a law for civil jurisprudence, or a uniform civil code, common civil code, it cannot be against the constitutional mandate. It has to fit into that.
Absolutely.
More importantly, it has to be something that works for the Indian citizen at large and adds to that value. So why has the issue of uniform civil code come out now?
Exactly. So
In the last 1 year, there have been, may I please have the courtesy of just finishing a point, then you please ask me anything you want.
I would just,
Please, may I? Why has this issue come out now? This issue has come up now because before the Honorable Supreme Court of India, multiple petitions have come out where this question has emerged. A year ago, it came out roughly when someone from the Christian community approached on Christian marriage law on basically the issue that in divorce by mutual consent, should there be a 2-year gap before granting that divorce as compared to others where it is 6 months. Currently, there is a petition involving the triple talak. In all of this, the Supreme Court has been raising this question and saying that it has to be done as per the constitutional mandate. Now, you've had debates also. I have seen Mr. Zafar on this debate. I've seen Dr. Zeenat on the debate. This is not going to be a Hindu code. It can't be. But at the same time, we need to realize that the challenge that is coming up from members of the community who are finding there is a need to codify different, whether it's their personal laws, whether there is a move towards a common law. So you can't stop a discussion to it. And if the government is making an endeavor under Prime Minister Modi, why is it being shown as a divisive agenda? If anyone is being divisive, it's not even in recognizing that an endeavor has to be made. The Law Commission people will give their views. They may have counter views. They may have suggestions to improve on something that's been drafted. How can you have a draft if you don't even have an endeavor? So everyone says, show us a draft. But when the endeavor to make a draft is there, no one wants that endeavor.
If indeed the objective is to bring all citizens at par, and most importantly, this is government seeking advice from the Law Commission, and the government cannot and will not enforce this forcibly. So therefore, where does the objection really stem from?
You know, I would like to say I'm not as articulate as my friend Nalin Kohli, but I would be really happy if you give me the same patient hearing.
Sorry. I thought it was to me meant. I'm sorry, someone else has asked that.
If you give me the same...
Junaid Matoo is speaking now. Yes, Junaid Matoo.
I said I am not as articulate as Nalin, but please give me the same amount of time and patience. Nalin has said certain right things, and certain things I disagree with. When he talks about the Constitution, it is true that the Constitution has to be accepted as a whole, not in parts. It is a whole, the Constitution is an entity that you have to accept in a whole form, not in piecemeals. But I also want to say that this whole argument for a uniform civil code is unfortunately made on certain generalizations and stereotypes. We talk about the Shahbano case, but then our friends don't want to talk about the Aisha B case, right? So there are dichotomies on both sides of the argument, but my argument is that personal affairs and private affairs of Muslims have to be governed by their religious scriptures. If somebody finds that unacceptable, that person is free not to adhere to that, not to enter into a marriage, a contract of marriage according to the religious rituals of Islam. He can go to a court and get married. The other point is the generalization and oversimplification.
Junaid Matoo, what does a woman who's got into that contract and then divorced by her husband through speed post or WhatsApp with a triple talak written to her, what is that woman supposed to do? Who's got married in good faith, wants to follow the tenets of Islam, and then finds herself thrown out of the marriage without any grounds being presented.
You asked that question. There is no you asked that question. Thank you for asking that question. You know, Islam is not all about triple talak. Islam is not this pagan religion with no rights for women.
Nobody is saying
Islam,
that.
Women have privileges and rights. Let me finish.
Hang on.
As I said, let me finish. Please let me finish.
No, even if there are three individuals against whom extreme gross injustice is being meted out, then this argument applies to those three individuals. Nobody is generalizing.
I can't make a complex point with regular interruptions. Just give me a minute. Anand, just give me a minute. I have heard everybody patiently. Just give me a minute.
Just allow me 30
Let me answer what has been asked this far, and then I'll answer what you have asked again. Let me answer what has been asked till now.
You have made two comments, sir. Your first comment was, again, it was loaded, whether you chose to use that word or you just did it inadvertently. I'll give you the benefit of doubt, because you said that if somebody does not want to follow the tenets of Islam, he can go somewhere else. Now, again, the woman is being marginalized there. Secondly, please don't bring in paganism and say that it has no place for women, because that's a different concept altogether. You're totally wrong. Please, let's come back to the real issue. Make your point.
Do I have a right to interrupt you?
Make your point, sir.
Do I have a right? You said that you have a right to interrupt me. Do I have a right to interrupt you?
Make your point.
I can't make a complex point with regular interruptions. My point is triple talaq is not what Islamic or Muslim personal law is all about. All these things have context according to the religious scriptures and articles of faith of a religion. My argument is not just for Muslims or Islam. My argument is that uniformity does not amount to secularism. This concept is a wrong fallacy that secularism has to be relying on uniformity. This is a diverse country. This is a diverse country. People have different religions.
The law has to be equal to all.
The right to practice your religion.
By their religious affairs. Islam is a way of life. Islam is a way of life, and a way of life is governed by religious belief. If you find that unacceptable, then we will have majoritarianism. We will have tyranny. Why do we talk about
majoritarianism? Rahul Easwar, why is there this psychosis that this has something to do with majoritarianism?
Muslim personal law was so archaic and so outdated. Then what do they have to say about the Aisha B case?
Common civil code is not rejection of religious pluralism. Common civil code is harmonization of it. This is a very important point. Many friends in minority forget.
Converting to Islam,
common civil code is not rejection of pluralism.
Junaid Matoo.
Let us please remember this, sir. Common civil code is not rejection of religious pluralism.
Common including the other religions, I think so. We are not at that threshold at this point of time.
With due respect,
harmonization of rights for every
with due respect to Junaid Matoo, I would request Dr. Zeenat Shaukat Ali to please educate some of our panelists who are not only conflating issues, that is marrying two divergent issues into one, but they are also trying to spread a perception that is totally false.
Now, extend the harmonization with the other religions and other codes.
Zafar, Sareshwala, good evening, sir. Coming to you in just a bit.
The Hindu community has not closed itself.
Okay, let's go to Dr. Sareshwala. Sir, Dr. Sareshwala, I think people like Junaid, Matoo and others who are totally convoluting the ball. Beg your pardon, Zafar Sareshwala. Mr. Sareshwala.
If you just want to...
Mr. Junaid Matoo, hang on. Junaid Matoo, hang on. See, there are certain perceptions and you're clouded by certain perceptions that are totally false. Sir, at every statement that you have tried to make, I would like to challenge him. Yeah.
I didn't make my...
Zafar Sareshwala, coming to you, sir. I'm just allowing Dr. Zeenat an intervention. Junaid Matoo, you might not want to listen to me. Please lend your ear to Dr. Zeenat. Yeah.
Mr. Matoo.
No, but if you don't want to lend your ear to me, I lend my ear to anybody else.
Junaid bhai, please.
Junaid bhai,
I spoke the last on this panel and you don't want me to speak.
Junaid bhai, your patience. Junaid, your patience. Junaid, your patience, please. Junaid, your patience.
You've spoken much more than I have. You're welcome.
Dr. Zeenat is speaking. Junaid, hang on.
You can mute me. You can mute me.
No. Junaid, hang on.
Please tell me.
Please accord that respect to Dr. Zeenat. You can speak over me, Junaid. Please, Dr. Zeenat, allow her to speak. Allow her to speak. Yeah.
You see,
she has already spoken once.
She wants to intervene. She wants to counter you. She has a point to make to you. Please
I
hear
just
her
need to ask you a question. You see, when you said Islam is not all about the triple divorce, today the triple divorce has become an issue which you have to take care of because the Muslim Personal Law Board is not even willing to look at it. When it calls it sinful and it calls it innovative and it is known to be heretical, how can it be Islam? When a man can divorce a woman when he's drunk, when drinking is not allowed, when he can divorce her by the slip of a tongue, when can he divorce her in a fit of anger, are these Islam? Is this what is your definition of Islam? No, please let me finish. Please let me finish.
Sadly, this is a distortion.
Let her complete. Junaid Matoo of the National Conference is calling a professor in Islamic Studies and Director General of the Wisdom Foundation, Dr. Zeenat Shaukat Ali, as wrong. Let her make a point.
Yes, has to correct itself within its own.
Does the Muslim Personal Law Board consider the triple talak to be sinful and a punishable crime? I am quoting from the law book,
law board, but the circumstances which you mentioned do not allow for a man to even divorce her wife through a legal procedure, leave alone triple talak.
I'm talking about the present controversy.
Our religion has a safeguard for that.
The present controversy.
Answer the question.
I am talking about the present controversy.
Then the argument will be
Let us be honest.
Islam has safeguards for the rights of women. The rights of women are protected, safeguarded in Islam, and the diversity of this country is non-negotiable.
Muslim women currently who've gone to court because they are crying out for equality, who have been divorced by their husbands on WhatsApp, Speed Post, Telegram and various such things, who are questioning this provision in the Muslim personal law that allows a man to divorce his wife with absolutely no grounds presented. I want your response to these 3 or 4 women. Nobody is trying to paint the entire religion broad brush. Nobody is saying it's faggot paganism. Talk about these 3 women and your response to what you would say to them who are crying out for equality.
But the moment you generalize and say that Muslims should be bereft of their own Muslim law,
I'm asking you to answer these 3 women.
You are stereotyping an entire community of Muslims in the country.
Nobody is stereotyping. I am saying you answer your response to these 3 women.
The Muslim personal law, you take away the religious freedom of Muslims to live in this country.
You're seriously not making sense to a lot of the panelists present today. Zafar Sareshwala bringing you in, but just one final word from Dr. Zeenat. She wanted to narrate a real incident that she's privy to.
I recently had a conversation with a very respected doctor. If I take his name, you will know him in a short, but he doesn't want to be mentioned. The doctor told me that when he goes to the slums,
Dr. Rehmani, coming to you, so just one second.
Have been divorced by the triple talak. They are so desperate, they're destitute, they have nowhere to go. He says, I cry at their condition. These are his words to me. My heart bleeds for them. Now you tell me that Islam is a religion that I have taught. The rights that Islam has given women are extremely high.
Yes.
And it has given a lot of exalted position to women. Where is that position given by you, sir? Why has that position been downgraded by you? Why are you accepting a law that you call sinful, that you call innovative, that you call heretical, and you accept it? all the Sahih Sitta. I'm quoting to you the 6 Sahih Sitta. I'm quoting to you Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik and Imam Hanbal, who have absolutely said that the triple talaq is equal only to 1, and yet you insist that it should be permitted. Now you tell me, which Muslim law are you talking about? Because I don't know this.
This is nothing about the Muslim person law. You have to talk about
Dr. Rehmani, coming to you, sir. Zafar
Dr. Rehmani, this has everything to do with it. That is exactly
the question. Of course it has everything to do with
it, when you are talking about a woman's right to equality, does the Muslim personal law
Islam has given that right to equality, sir, you do it.
We cannot confuse common civil code with Muslim personal law. Both are entirely different. The Muslim community must have to take the measure by itself from that doesn't nothing to do with uniform civil code.
Altogether.
Okay, gentlemen.
It's not the common civil code, in fact,
that is altogether different. The personal law issues are altogether different.
No,
that is exactly what it hopes to address.
Exactly, like Tina. No, Dr. Rehmani, Fuad, Halim, like Tina and Dr. Zeenat are saying, it is about personal laws. It is about these personal laws that have to be corrected and that are actually marginalizing a certain gender, because under the constitution the law is equal irrespective of caste, creed or gender, sir. And when you're creating a position of inequality, you are doing a disservice. You're going ahead the tenets of the constitution. Zafar Sareshwala.
Please panelists, please allow the courtesy to your fellow panelists to make his opening comments. Zafar Sareshwala coming to you, and then John Dayal wants to make a point. Yes, Zafar Sareshwala.
See, I think regarding triple talaq and more than one marriage, Quran is very clear. In fact, this triple talaq which is happening, for which the ladies have gone to the Supreme Court, Anand, that talaq is basically against the Quranic principle. Quran prescribes talaq as a process. Now giving talaq through SMS, through letters.
Please, let him make his point. Fuad Halim, let him make his point.
Now you listen to me. What I am saying, talking. No, you listen to me. You listen to me.
We'll come back to the debate. Sir, we'll come back to the larger issue.
I disagree with this.
No, but this is a
part of the conspiracy.
No. Fuad Halim.
Fuad Halim. Use the common
if you agree,
it is part of the discussion.
Let Zafar Sareshwala make his point. Fuad Halim. Let Zafar Sareshwala make his point. Zafar Sareshwala, if the real fact is, so who's defending? Who's fighting the case against the women? It's the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, Zafar Sareshwala.
You don't have decorum of a debate. You learn to
Zafar Sareshwala, please make your point. Zafar Sareshwala, please make your point.
This gentleman, Anand, you tell this gentleman how he has to behave in a debate.
Fuad Halim will listen we'll hear you out and then make his point. We'll make his point. Yes.
He doesn't know how to sit in a debate. You teach him that
Mr.
first.
Sareshwala, please carry on.
You teach him that first.
Now Mr. Sareshwala, please go on. Yeah.
About common civil code, Anand, my view is that let's have a debate on that. We don't know what permutation, combination, what the draft of that common civil code would be. Let us have that. Let's discuss. Let's deliberate. We have no problem. As a Muslim, because in this country, whenever you talk of common civil code, you tag along with Muslims. It's not a Muslim problem. Muslims in the world are living, 1/3 Muslims live as minorities in the world. So we don't have a problem. But let that come. Let that come on for what it is. So I think if the law commission, it has gone to the law commission, let the law commission bring all the stakeholders on board, and ladies, Islamic scholars, Hindu scholars, Christian scholars, everybody, let them deliberate and let us come to a conclusion what it is. We don't even know what that common civil code is.
John Dayal, that's the point. Exactly, John Dayal, that's the point. It's apolitical, it's mandatory, and it's calling for a debate.
I think Mr. Nitin Sethi had put it beautifully, and our fears were almost allayed. But this constant focus that again sort of gives it this whole thing about a conspiracy. It is not. If now it is before the Law Commission, and I wish they had taken so much notice of it, it is the part of their job, it is part of the charter. If they had done that, now that provides a platform, a non-threatening platform for all of us to present a point of view. And the report will be only a report. It's for the government, it's again for Parliament to discuss it. Let the process of discussion, who can object to a process of discussion?
Exactly.
Which religion can object to modernization? Christianity today is a far removed way from medieval Christianity. It evolves, it grows, it improves. Gender issues have been dominant. We have just been through 2 years of a family synod. We have discussed things which had not been discussed for 1,000 years.
Yes.
It happens, but in a non-threatening, nurturing manner. Let that process begin.
So
let it be part of evolution of the Indian state, of the Indian Republic.
And that's how it should be seen. So Dr. Rehmani, why this reluctance or resistance to debate?
No, who is reluctant to the debate? I am of the opinion at the outset of this debate that the ball is in the...
One second, Zafar, just coming to you in just a second. Let Dr. Rehmani conclude
There
his
is
point
no
and coming to
reluctance
you
on the debate. We are from the day one, we are saying there must be a blueprint and let us debate and discuss that. But the successive governments have failed to come out with a blueprint.
Absolutely.
Until date, there is no blueprint. Now,
Dr. Rehmani,
case has been referred to the Law Commission, and let the Law Commission come out with a
fair
blueprint.
point, Dr.
We will
Rehmani.
discuss and debate.
Absolutely.
We are open for that.
Zafar Sareshwala, you wanted to make a point. I have a question to the panelists after Zafar Sareshwala makes his point. Yes, Zafar Sareshwala.
Yeah. No, I just want to quote a hadith of the Prophet. He said that I am leaving two things with you. This is Quran and my way of life. If you don't find things in these two, then there is a process of ijtihad and qiyas. People of that time, the intelligent, the people who are masters of law, the jurisprudence, they come sit together and come with something tangible which has consensus. So Islam has that leeway in that. Islam has that flexibility available already.
But
so my point is
that's true.
That let's discuss. First, let the Muslim community itself discuss.
But who is coming out? The people are using the uniform civil code or common civil code as a sword.
No, Dr. Dr. Rehmani.
Sharia law.
No, Dr. Rehmani, may I ask you something? No, Dr. Rehmani, may I ask you something?
They did not come. They did not come for last 7 decades.
Dr. Rehmani, I'm going to start with you, sir. I'm going to start with you, sir. It's a very relevant panel. And this question goes out to everybody one after the other.
But Anand, can I weigh in there and make a quick point?
Yeah. Yes, Junaid, Matoo.
There is also a hadith that a Zoroastrian woman went to the beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, about a case that needed to be settled. And the Prophet settled that case according to the Zoroastrian law. The Prophet of our religion gave minorities in that land the right to follow their personal and private affairs and let those be governed by their religious laws. India is a secular democratic country. It thrives on diversity. It has never thrived on uniformity.
Okay.
Let every faith be practiced according to the tenets of their faith. But Sharia also says that the law of the land should be respected.
Dr. Zeenat.
But if you respect Sharia, if people are allowed to govern their private affairs to their religious law, that does not mean they have to respect the law of the land.
Yes, Rahul.
Respect the law of the land.
Junaid. Yes, Rahul.
A quick counter. Common civil code is not uniformity. Common civil code is unity in diversity. It is a kind of harmonization.
No.
As Nalin Kohli ji beautifully articulated, they will go to any extent to allay the fears of minority. It is a kind of harmony building. It is national integration.
No.
Why should we be scared about it?
No. What national integration? No.
This is integration.
Assimilating the socio-cultural and religious values
wrong information that is being spread, which creates that fear psychosis. No, Junaid, that is incorrect. Because this does not impinge upon the freedom to practice any religion. This is talking about issues related to justice.
And their national identity. You might agree with that.
At least hear out the ladies on the panel. You don't want to hear out the men. At least hear out the ladies on the panel. Tina and Dr. Zinat are telling you something.
Justice looking at
hear them out.
Their right from them to actually say that.
Junaid, Matoo, at least Junaid, Matoo, you don't want to hear out the men on the panel. At least hear out the ladies. You can accord them that much of respect and
Dr.
space,
Zeenat, please respond to that, because in no way does a uniform civil code or a proposal for a uniform civil code impinge upon the freedom to practice a religion. It is about justice and equality, and aren't nearly all religions, in some way or the other, religious laws have been skewed against women. They have been discriminatory against women, and it's not just Islam. There are so many discriminatory rules against women that have been done away with in Hinduism as well. It's all part of an evolution process. As you move forward into the future, you have to do away with archaic laws.
Mr. Junaid, you're very correct when you mentioned that the Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, asked the Zoroastrian to be ruled by their law. You see, when the Prophet Muhammad also evolved, when the Muslim law evolved in itself, there had to be that element of justice, there has to be that element of non-discrimination, and there were various methods that various Muslim countries in the world used to update the Muslim law. And those methods, like have been already spoken about, one is ijtihad, which means creative interpretation, one is qiyas, which means analogy, then there is taqayyur, which is selection, on the basis of which your 1939 Act, Muslim Marriages Divorce Act, where a woman could not divorce, she could go in for a judicial divorce. Then there is tafliq, that is two conflicting juristic opinions that can be combined. There is maslaha mursala, that means where public interest is taken into consideration. Then there is al-zaruriyat, jiski zarurat hai, the state takes over. And so there have been many policy changes made by Muslims in their countries which have upgraded the Sharia and which have upgraded the fiqh. I want to finish, please. I want to finish.
Yeah, let him complete.
I want to finish.
Let her complete.
I just need to tell you that in India, we are being ruled by the Anglo-Mohammedan law, which has very little to do with Islam, sir. This discriminatory process is not Islam. God is not discriminatory. He has made two human beings, and both to them he has given equal rights. Now, once you establish that those rights are not being given by you, where will the Muslim women go?
I agree.
No,
if you are
just one more thing, and Dr. Zeenat, no, 23 or more Islamic nations have abolished triple talak. Yeah, but India, as a democracy, you have the All India Muslim Personal Law Board fighting the cases. That is opposing it. So where is the sense here? Where is the sense here?
Junaid, आप बात समझिए, आप शांत हो जाइए.
With the water,
आप 2 मिनट मेरी बात सुनिए.
Reform within Islam, and I agree with that. I agree with ijtihad. I agree with an internal mechanism of reform.
But tell me, for the last 6.
But when you talk about the uniform civil code, you not only demolish the Muslim personal law, you demolish every chance of internal reform, internal modernization.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Listen to me. For the last 6 months, I am sitting here and debating this issue, and sometimes I feel I become like a gramophone record because I'm repeating and repeating on the various channels, and I'm saying the same thing, that the Prophet Muhammad has never ever favored the triple divorce. The triple divorce has been debated and has been overcome in Muslim countries, and so it should be overcome. But now you tell me that the Muslim Personal Law Board, with due respect to them, who is supposed to be the guardians of the Muslims in this country, are not the guardians of the Muslims, Muslim women of this country, that Muslim women have to go ritar and here and there. So please be fair.
They ought to be.
Please be fair. Please be fair.
Now to our panelists. Now to our panelists.
Within the community, safeguarding the rights of Muslims to govern their public and private affairs according to equal and just laws.
Absolutely. But your laws equal and just now. Your laws have to be equal and just.
There is reform. But reform
there have to be laws equal and just, which you are refusing to understand. I am only asking for
Junaid, Matoo, where does that reform come from then? Who is initiating it? At the moment, the personal law board, the Muslim personal law board is saying there is no question of reviewing the issue of this uniform civil code, this religious celebration.
Why don't the government come out with a Sharia council?
To start a review process.
What I want to say is, do not make it just an issue
more Hindus in this country
Muslims.
are in second marriages than
By
Muslims of
making
this
it
country.
that,
People who are having an apprehension or a reservation, I'm sure government will walk an extra mile to allay their fears.
For reforms.
Right.
This is, once you have a common civil code or a uniform civil code, it will impinge on all of us. give us an opportunity also to be heard. I hope the Law Commission provides this opportunity.
Yes, that's the
every nuance.
Sir, that's the duty of the Law Commission. They are going to speak to all the stakeholders. But the reality is that Dr. Rehmani, I hope you're also a learned person along with all of the panelists. I hope all of us realize we are in 2016. We are not about 2,500 or 3,000 years ago. We are in 2016. We are a society which needs to evolve, and so does religion. That has to evolve and change with the times. So if people have to evolve, and if society has to evolve, and if the constitution says there's going to be equality of justice,
who
sir,
is denying that?
Sir, please hear me. So my question is to you, Dr. Rehmani.
He said it.
Dr.
Rehmani. Why we are debating this?
Dr.
Rehmani, I don't know why we are debating this issue now.
May I please complete the question?
The first government under the pressure of Supreme Court of India has turned the ball to the
Dr. Rehmani.
Why we are debating?
No, Dr. Rehmani.
Why we are mixing this issue of common civil code with the Muslim civil code?
No, we are saying what we are saying is both are the different. Don't mix religion and your freedom to practice a faith with what is due to you as that gives the appreciation. You can't mix both of them, Dr. Rehmani. That's the straightforward point.
To note here. One second, Rahul Easwar. Now, the fact is that the judicial system, our constitution, the changing laws, the evolving laws have made sweeping changes to some ancient Hindu laws as well, which impinged upon equality and freedom. And these changes have been made over the years, and it's always for the betterment. Is it not? Rahul Easwar.
The community in India has not resolved the common code for it.
Very true. Two things. First, there are many laws in Hindus that may need reformation. But Hindu community in general is open for such discussions. And let me remind humbly, the greatest reformation in Hindu community for centuries back in 1956 was done by a great Dalit Buddhist Ambedkar. And when we look back 60 years, we realize the resistance against all the reformations were not up to the mark.
Rahul Easwar denying women the right to pray is one of the banes of the
Who is objecting to that?
Rahul Easwar.
That's what I'm coming to. There are such debates where different stakeholders are raising many different points.
This of any community or any religion, there are
Supreme
problems in every religion. But
we are open to such debates.
We are open on the rights of any gender, any caste, any religion, then that needs to go away. Even today, Rahul Easwar, you will agree that Dalits are not allowed into temples. There is discrimination based on caste and entry into temples. How is that fair? If there should be no discrimination, if law is equal to all, then all of this will also go away. So as society, every religion, every law that has been made to create barriers has to go, and that will go only from the common civil code.
I think Junaid
it has to go. There has to be an attitudinal change, sir.
Coming back to
Look at inheritance. Do women have an equal right of inheritance? Do women have an equal right of inheritance? Why is the Karta the male, sir?
Taken such a step.
Why is the Karta the male?
Rahul Easwar, why do you have double standards?
Open to
Rahul Easwar, why do you have double standards? When it comes to women not being allowed inside temples, you say that those are matters of belief and faith of Hinduism.
Zafar Sareshwala. Zafar Sareshwala. Junaid, Matoo, Rahul Easwar. Hang on, going across to Zafar Sareshwala and then to Nalin. Yes, Zafar Sareshwala.
Why not women be allowed in all
Sareshwala.
sanctuaries of temples?
Two quick points regarding the Dalits as priests. Exactly. Let me answer. Give me a chance.
I'm going to request Junaid, Matoo and Rahul Easwar to please calm down. I have limited time. We have limited time, sir. Sir, going across to Zafar Sareshwala. Zafar Sareshwala, please. Zafar Sareshwala, please.
I think the women of every religion are crying for justice. There cannot be a deafness to that sound.
People from all
that is a
communities
fact.
have been initiated as priests in many temples.
Zafar Sareshwala, please.
Entry of women and
Zafar
other such controversial cases.
Rahul Easwar, we'll have a separate debate. That debate continues even on Sabrimala. Calm down right now. Yes, Zafar Sareshwala.
There are justified reasons.
Yes, Zafar Sareshwala.
Women not being allowed inside.
Zafar Sareshwala. Junaid, Matoo, please calm down. Yes, Zafar Sareshwala.
Disagree with that. but
Junaid,
you
Matoo, calm
said
down, please.
that is a matter of faith. That is a matter of faith and
Mr.
not
Sareshwala,
open to debate.
please make
but
your
how
point.
is this open to debate? And that is not open
Junaid
to
Matoo
debate.
will not stop till you start.
Junaid
Yes,
Matoo,
Zafar
I'm
Sareshwala.
sorry, but Anand has in fact completely made the exact point that you're trying to make. That's what he said to Rahul Easwar right now. So no, what you're saying is something that Anand has just said. And he said exactly that to Rahul Easwar, that there is the issue of gender inequality in Hinduism as well. And every religion needs to move on and progress and provide equal opportunities and equality in every sense to its women and men. That's exactly the point that's been made here. Okay, Zafar Sareshwala, please, gentlemen, allow him to speak. He's been extremely patient. He has not butted in when any of you have spoken.
Then how can you have different yardsticks?
Nobody has different yardsticks.
Let's not have one. That's why we're saying common civil code, Junaid Matoo. Yes, Zafar Sareshwala.
See, I think we are digressing from the original debate of common civil code. Now, I'll tell you, in 2013, when Mr. Modi was the prime ministerial candidate, in December of 2013, about 30 Islamic scholars came to him and they asked a very pointed question, because this is the most relevant issue always for the BJP manifesto, that will bring the common civil code. And they asked him that, Mr. Modi, what will you do? So he very categorically said that yes, if at all common civil code will come, it will have discussion, all the stakeholders will be brought in front to the fore, there will be discussion, and it will never be imposition of a Hindu code on the Muslims. So there will be a discussion, and if they move on that direction with the law commission, bringing everybody a discussion paper, debate, I think if that goes in this direction, then nobody would have any problem with any law coming into force.
And that's really
Precisely,
the point.
that's where we began.
That's exactly the point.
We began by asking for a discussion paper.
And
so we know what to
gentlemen
discuss.
and Dr. Zeenat, the fact is that the law commission
could
is
not
able
come with a blueprint.
But we have a problem
There is no reason to believe that all stakeholders will not be consulted. There is no reason to believe that a genuine debate will not take place. So let's take this forward and believe the fact that all stakeholders will be part of this discussion process.
They must be.
Yes, and they must be, and that's the only way forward for true equality in this country.
I think I agree with you. You know, the three Muslim members on the panel, even if you drop me out of the panel, there is no problem. But the other three members who are here, if you incorporate all these people and work together with them and make a draft of the Uniform Civil Code, I think that would be an ideal thing. There must be discussion. Even the Muslim Personal Law Board has said, okay, there is something like that. You please get the draft out and let us have a discussion on it. And all communities must be included in the debate. Whoever are the representatives of the community, whoever you may have trusted,
we are demanding for last so many years.
Be part of it.
For the whole decade, I am demanding that let the government do its duty.
Well, they've made the move.
With a blueprint.
What other governments in the last 67 years have not done, this government has done, and that is to their credit. They've moved the law commission saying, take all stakeholders into consideration and let's look at the issues and look at the possibilities of implementation.
This is the credit of the Supreme Court of India.
This is not
the credit of the government of India.
Well, it is.
That is the Supreme Court of India who urged the government of India to come out with a proposal.
There are panelists who have a problem giving any credit to Mr. Narendra Modi or this current government, so they might give credit to the judiciary. We welcome that. Whoever takes the credit or whoever you want to give the credit to.
So Zafar Sareshwala said that he made a promise 3 years back.
Deliberating over a common civil law. The biggest step has been taken.
Silent.
Only the Supreme Court after the Sharma case. Thank you very much. I have to wind up on that note. I thank you very much. Let the debate continue. Let the deliberations continue, and let's walk towards and move towards a common civil law. Thank you very much.
Thank you.